And that is a slightly, well, less than pleased look on the eyes of Matt Cooke and Scott Yardley. I don't think they'll be too hard on themselves off the back of that last match, especially on the frame that we just showed you. The shot for Matt Cooke to take on was really, really tough.
Yeah, from 2-0 up to 2-2, you know, that's not on them, is it? You know, that a reverse clearance and a golden break from Tom Cousins, you know, it happens, but they will be disappointed. Obviously, Matt had that opportunity with that last shot, but he had first go in that frame as well, so they'll be disappointed that they didn't. That chance that Matt had originally, by the way, he will believe he should have made that. He should have made that. He's, you know, a professional level player. He should have absolutely made sure of that plant to top right hand corner. If he does that, then they go 3-2 up, and then it's whether Shane can respond in that situation. Ultimately, they're, you know, that frame there is essentially eliminated them from tonight, and they'll look back on their first two matches and think, we had an opportunity to win the first one, and did we have an opportunity to win the second? And the answer is probably yes.
Yeah, fine margins though. You can probably make the sort of claim that they've made less mistakes tonight than, for example, Raybone and Andy Blurton.
Yeah, they
just goes sometimes to show how the run of the balls and how the match situation can dictate things. This is going to be a fantastic finish if these two get these, by the way, because they've played a bit fast and loose with a cue ball, but it's been good fun. They've been consistently solving the problem as they go, and at a real rate of knots.
Yeah, it's not a good shot though. Could not afford that yellow to just slide away. Even if there's still cuts, you can't get on the 8-ball now. Of course, this is a dead rubber essentially. Both pairs are out, so you're kind of just fighting for a bit of pride out there.
Yeah, and I hope both of them put on a bit of a show as well. Last 16, they know the race is run, but opportunity on live telly.
One thing we hear on all the interviews, you know, all the players talk about is just getting enough opportunities to try and win the night and come on through. And one thing that these two pairs can both know, they both had enough opportunities to be in a much stronger position. But both pairs have had the chance to essentially still be in the night. Great out.
Yeah, what a hit. He's put Reds under a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah. You'd like to think these two are good enough to take these out. Requires a couple of nice shots here and there, but every ball can be made, especially once this one's out of the way. Opens up the one above it. Just having a look at the two at the top. Does the left-hand one pass the right-hand one? Because that can make things easier. The other four actually connect really well. Now play this one, just a little bit of left-hand, a little bit of right-hand side. Maybe try and get in between the two reds. You'd rather be on the bottom one before the top one. Just see the side on it. Maybe a trace more would have been nice, but it's not bad. But going like this, you really could do with the left-hand one at the top passing the right-hand one. Otherwise, you've got to get high and with a good angle to make sure you get back on the 8-ball. Whereas if it does pass the gap, then you're dropping this one in dead weight and you're leaving it fine.
I guess we'll never know.
He played that with a bit more pace than I thought he would, so I think that probably suggests that he couldn't get to the left-hand one, didn't pass the right-hand one. Because of the way he played it, he's gone past where he wanted to be.
Pretty decent escape once again, close to pulling out the big shot.
Get out of this one then. Oh my. You can have 1,000 goes from there.
I'd give someone 1,000,000.
But it's not classed as an impossible snooker because there's a gap.
Yeah, it is. I suppose it's physically possible to do, but it's one of those where it may well be actually impossible. Well, he's done phenomenally well.
No.
Oh, he's done so well to even go that close.
Yeah, we could have closed off shot of the championship if he gets out of that.
That would have been remarkable.
Of course, he nearly hits it, but if he had grazed it there off that last cushion, it would have still been a foul, simply because he wouldn't have hit a cushion afterwards. But just even to get to that quarter of the table was outrageous.
If you got the cue ball out, it was pretty impressive. He's going to get another go. This is the last one. This is an unbelievable effort. This.
Into the jaw. That's amazing.
We have another go, and they just shaved that one as well.
So they didn't go last time with ball in hand in the red over the pocket. At what point are you going to try and win the frame? That's the question, because you're not going to get any better look.
Yeah, come on. Dead rubber.
Yeah, let's go here.
Play the game.
Maybe they're playing for 1-0. Run this one down until there's 30 seconds on the clock. No, decided to go. Played the greatest of shots, in all honesty.
Wrong choice of shot for me.
Should have played safe. Yeah, it's a good pot, but it's still not ideal here. Is the natural going into the 8-ball, in which case where's it contacting the 8-ball?
I think it is.
Well,
and
it looks like, just the way that Scott was pointing, that he's thick enough on this that he can use the yellow to hold. No, he did play natural, and yeah, that one kind of went wrong from the first shot.
No, Betts and Egan are going to get a frame on the board. 1-0.
Slightly strange situation that you do see creep up every now and then, and so you have to, sometimes you just, to take out a finish, you have to risk not taking out the finish. So they could never lose that frame if they just kept playing safe and safe and safe. They're never ever going to lose the frame, but you have to risk losing it to try and win it.
Reminder, we are playing for our third semi-final spot. It will be one of Andy Blurton and 𝗟𝗓𝗏𝗍 and Tom Cousins and Shane Thompson. The first semi-final is already set. In a fortnight's time, Christy Caulfield and Phil Parkin will take on Sean Story and Scott Gillespie, which is quite the juicy encounter.
Yeah, it really is. There's something about the way that Phil and Christy are playing in this year's Pairs Cup. Keep an eye on the way they went in making it through. They'll be really up for it.
And I wasn't here last week when Sean and Scott came through, but from what I did see, it looked like as routine a qualification out of that standard of group could possibly be.
Yeah, I mean, their job done with a match to spare. It was very comfortable for them.
Were there matches that they did win as comfortable as that, or?
Yeah, pretty much. It was a strange night that it felt like there was a chance we could have ended up with quite a big 6-red shootout, 2, 3, 4-way, and then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 minutes later, it was okay. The night's essentially done. It was pretty comfortable for them. They always seemed to be in control of what they were doing.
Scott misses that pretty tight red, the whole pocket to go at. Be Sean Story's second Pairs Cup finals night. Scott Gillespie's first. Of course, were it to be Shane Thompson and Tom Cousins to qualify, it would be their second Pairs Cup finals night. They were there last year. Defeated at the semi-final stage. Oh, catching.
Sometimes we get these dead matches at the end of groups, and it's both partnerships or when it's the Champions League, players end up kind of buzzing and playing great and entertaining us, and sometimes we get them where it just all goes wrong. The deflation and the kind of competitive juices have gone. This feels like the latter.
All there low here for Scott Yardley to tie things back up at 1 each. Should mention as well, as we're talking about finals night and the potential repercussions and ramifications and matchups that we've got, the remaining last 16 group that we will see is, well, I would class it as tasty.
It certainly is.
Next week, set your watches. Chris Melling and Craig Waddingham are back in action. So too are Jimmy Croxton and Rob Warne, Phil Harrison and 𝗡𝗲𝘃𝗀𝗃, and Ricky Jones and Jake Dillon Newlove, which is, as the Scott breakdown, which is a box office group if ever there was one.
You could pretty much put Chris Melling in any group you want and it'll be a box office group. He is the draw, isn't he? Well, especially the way he played last time in the Pro Series. Those that got to see that.
Very true. You put him with Craig Waddingham, however, in the pairs, and that really is box office. He too went to finals night in the Pairs Cup last year. Went there with Tom Ford. Change of partner for Chris this year, and him and Craig Waddingham, pretty dream partnership really. It's a slightly different group to this, where they will start as big favourites just because they are Chris Melling and Craig Waddingham, but the rest of that group is seriously stacked. It's not to say this group we've had tonight was a bad one, but the other two pairings, for example, Pro Challenger, then All Challenger. It's not exactly that on next week's group.
Yeah, obviously we don't know how tonight's going to end up yet, but at the start of the second stage, Tom Cousins and Shane Thompson would have been the bigger favourites than anybody else for their group. As big as you can be in these situations. Obviously Craig and Chris will start as favourites, but I say that very, very tough group to call. Last week was probably as even a group as we've had, and it ended up being very one-sided, so you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was so surprised when I saw how it had been won. I thought if anything was going to happen in that group, the last thing I'd have thought was that a team would win it with a game to spare. That is why we keep on coming back every Monday night. Every group that little bit different. 2-0. Sam Betts and John Egan leads. Missed opening gambit from John Egan means Matt Cooke gets first poke at these.
Yeah, and I mean, it's such a small thing to play for here, but it has happened in the past. It happened last year that you want to finish second in the group if you can, and they still can. It would require the final match having an outright winner and then winning a 6-red shootout, having won this one. But as it stands right now, Matt and Scott are tracking towards finishing bottom in the group, and Sam and John are going to end up second, and whoever loses our last match will finish third to our winners. And the reason it matters is just simply in case there's anything happens and our winning group can't make it through to finals night, which has happened in the past. I say it happened last year. You can't kind of... It's not something you really think about when you're out there, but it is a factor. There's a big shot coming up at some point here for Matt Cooke. Yellow was causing some issues at the top end. And that's not a good result. Got that extra kiss that he really didn't want. Really unfortunate. Should be able to just glance off this and play a loss of turn. Get the cue ball to sit in the top corner. No, he's gone more all out than that. He thought he'd made the tricky double, but then you're still in trouble. Whereas if he clips off and gets the loss of turn right, he's almost certainly got the control in the frame. Going to stay up. The shot at the top left was very, very nice. Playing with a carefree attitude.
Yeah, and he did already before this exact match. Very tidy from John Egan as they look to end their particular evening on a high. 3.5 left, 3-0 the leads. It looks like both pairs have enjoyed their evening regardless.
Well, it's a test, isn't it? Test for Scott and Matt, who said their goal was in the opening group was to enjoy themselves, which they did when they won. Asking the same question here, when we know that they are not going to make it through. In fact, they are, all things considered, going to finish bottom of the group.
Bottom of the group feels a bit harsh after their first 2 matches, I have to say.
But it's where they're going to end up, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, that break is absolutely enormous. He gets so much power through that pack, does John Egan. Properly slaps them.
You'd be happy with this layout every time, wouldn't you? This is nice. Chance to wrap it up before the clock gets there.
Rack them up again and go for a 5th if they wanted, I think. Pace these two are playing at. Timer asleep at the wheel. Was well in time. And this frame should be all but over. Little swan song from Betts and Egan.
Little shorter pace. I think they're fine though. I think they're just going to avoid the yellow. Float down nicely. I'll use the yellow. All the same.
This for 4-0. Didn't even feather it. Flies it in, John Egan. That was a super performance in the end from John and Sam, who leave the night and the last 16 of the Pairs Cup on a high with a 4-0 victory. Matt Cooke and Scott Yardley, their night ended a match ago, and you can forgive them for that performance. All right then, when we come back, it's time to decide who's qualifying for the Final Four.